Are you still stuck even after watching hours of real estate videos on YouTube? That's because no one's showing you how to raise the money, which is the part that actually matters. Every real estate millionaire that you see online, they're not using their own cash. They've mastered a system to raise millions, and that's what allows them to scale. I'm Tarek Musa, and I've raised billions of dollars and acquired billions in real estate using this exact process and mastering the skill of raising money. And in case you don't already know me, I spent years working at BlackRock. I've advised JP Morgan, and I helped build a new real estate investment firm from brand new to becoming the sixth fastest growing real estate company in the entire country in just 3 years. And within 5 years, owning over $1 billion of real estate. And in the next 12 minutes, I'll show you the step by step playbook to raise capital, whether you're looking to fund your first property or you're ready to launch a full scale real estate fund. Here's why raising investor money beats doing it all yourself. You see, most beginners think, I'll save up money first and then I'll buy the property. And I'll repeat that process over and over again forever. But the problem with that is obvious. If you rely on your own savings, then you can only grow as fast as you can save. And for anyone who wants financial freedom, that's a painfully slow way to get there. But smart operators think differently. They learn how to raise capital so that they can buy multiple properties at once using money from investors. And this is a critical difference. And I'll show you an example to highlight just how dramatic the difference in results can really be. So let's say that you want to buy a modest $200,000 property as an investment, which means that you would need about $50,000 per property for the down payment, assuming that you put about 25% down. And with the average salary in America being around $65,000 before taxes, most people would need years just to save up enough to purchase one property. But if on the other hand, you raise $5 million, which I know sounds like a lot now, but trust me, it not once you actually understand the game, then you would have enough to buy 100 properties. Now, ask yourself, would you rather buy 100 properties at once or buy one property at a time over the next 100 years? And here's the bigger issue. We just don't even have 100 years. Average life expectancy in the US is under 80 years old. So learning to scale efficiently is not something that's optional, it's mandatory. And at these levels, most people naturally would shift into commercial real estate because the growth potential there is much larger, but the fundamentals at the end of the day are still the same for how it all works. It's all still pretty much similar. And just to prove how effective this is, this exact approach is what helped me scale from individual deals to a massive portfolio of over 5,000 units on the real estate side alone. But to be honest, I didn't always understand this or have this mindset. Frankly, I used to pride myself on being a hard worker, and I used to think that if I worked hard, lived frugally, and saved aggressively, then I could buy enough properties to be financially free while I was still young. And I thought doing that wasn't possible for the typical person, but I was disciplined. And I would, of course, be the exception, right? But then one day, I actually sat down and ran the numbers, and I realized something painful, which is that I would be dead long before I ever became financially free if I relied solely on my own funds and didn't learn how to raise and leverage other people's money. And so, as I rose to the ranks of the financial world, working for the largest investor in the world and spending time around millionaires, billionaires, politicians, and even royal families, I noticed that they all had one thing in common, and that was that they all mastered the skill of raising money, which they can then use towards achieving their own goals. And seeing this over and over again just confirmed the suspicion that I had, which was that the skill of knowing how to raise money is the single most valuable skill in the world. And the good news is that this skill is not an all or nothing game. You don't need to be a master that's capable of raising billions of dollars from day one. Instead, you can start small and raise money one deal at a time. And once you've proven your model, then you can level up to a larger fund structure once you're happy and have actually proven that it works. So now that you understand the power of raising money and why it's the path that makes the most sense, let's talk about the simple fund structure that anyone can understand. You see, a lot of people hear the word fund and instantly get nervous and think that it's some complicated thing that's reserved just for Wall Street. But the truth is that a fund is just a legal term that describes a relationship structure that exists between two people. The first person in that relationship is the general partner, which is also known as GP for short. And that's you, the sponsor or the business owner. You find the deals, you manage the properties, make the decisions, and run the investment day to day to ensure its success. And the second person is the limited partner, also known as the LP for short. And there are often many limited partners or LPs in a single deal. And these people are your investors. They're the ones that contribute capital, receive returns, and they generally stay out of the day to day operation. Think of it like running a real estate company where you are the CEO that's in charge and your investors are your shareholders. This is a structure that has been used for thousands of years, and every major investment firm today uses this exact model. The only difference between them is the scale of how much money they are actually managing. But once you understand the structure, then raising capital becomes way less intimidating. So, quick pause on the video for a second. If you like what you're hearing and you're thinking, Tarek, this all sounds great, but I need help actually implementing this to raise money or start a fund, then I totally get it. And that's exactly why I created Money Raising School, which is a step-by-step program that gives you everything you need to raise anywhere from a few $1,000,000 to a few $100 million, and we guarantee the results, even if you've never talked to an investor before. There's a link in the description below this video where you can book a free call to see exactly how this works. Now back to the video. So now that you understand the power of raising money and what the structure looks like, let's talk about the final piece, which is the 4-step process to actually launch your fund. The truth is that most people actually get this backwards. They hire lawyers before they know what they're building and waste thousands of dollars. But here's the right sequence to follow. Step 1, find one amazing deal that proves that your strategy works. And this can be a single property that you raise money for, or the first deal that you plan to eventually roll into a fund in the future. Step 2, create a simple presentation. Explain your strategy, how your investors make money, and why you are uniquely positioned to execute that vision and bring it into reality. Because in this business, the jockey matters just as much as the horse. And at the highest levels, the jockey is actually by far the most important part of the equation. Step 3, test your idea with 5 to 10 potential investors. And I'm not talking about friends, not family. You want unbiased people who have real capital and are looking for opportunities. And you shouldn't settle for positive but non-committal responses like, sure, sounds great. I want you to push a little and ask them directly, how much would you actually invest? Getting signed commitments is the ideal goal, of course, but if you can't get that, then verbal commitments are acceptable and the next best thing at this stage. Step 4, only after you have commitments, then go ahead and hire the lawyer and get the legal documents prepared. This alone will save you between $20,000 and $50,000 or sometimes even more. But now that we've talked about the most important things you need to know, let's take a moment and touch on why you don't need to be an expert to start. You see, one of the biggest myths that I hear all the time from people is that I need years of experience before I can raise money from investors. And this is just not true at all. The reality is that investors care far more about your integrity and your process than they do about your track record. Investors didn't get rich by being dumb. They know that markets rise and markets fall, and they know that some things are simply outside your control. But what they want to see is that you have a clear plan, a defined process, and the integrity to do the right thing. And the great thing about the real estate business, of course, is that if you have any gaps in any of this, then you can partner with other experienced operators, hire strong property managers, and ultimately build a team that shows investors that you are qualified, you're organized, and that you are the right person for them to invest with. So if this all sounds exciting to you and you're ready to stop being limited by your own savings and finally start using investor money to grow, whether that means raising capital for one property or launching a full-scale fund, then I want to help you get started. I'm opening up some sessions where I'll show you exactly how to find investors, structure your deals legally, and raise your first $1 million or $100 million for your real estate business. And this isn't just theory. It's the exact process that I've used to raise billions of dollars from single property raises to institutional level funds. Click the link in the description to access free training right now.